I immensely like this question about boredom, especially, getting bored with the kind of work that we do. This is also an indication as to why the human mind tends towards looking for entertainment in life. All of us are wanting that time of life when we are relaxing or enjoying, and the process of normally doing that is by entertaining ourselves. And then we say that there is normal life, and then there is this time to relax, enjoy, and entertain. The first question, therefore, that strikes my mind is, how come your very work itself is not entertaining, enjoyable, and relaxing? From where is this need coming? I think if you start asking that question, some clarity will emerge. I do understand that in life, we'll have a set of things which we'll keep doing day after day. There are factory visits that I go to sometimes, and then I look at the people working there. A huge forging shop where there's a 10-ton, 15-ton, forging machinery is there. And I can see a 45, 48-year-old person working in that forging machine, one move at a time. Then it is kind of forging a particular metal, and then it's about 7-8 kilos of weight. He picks it up, keeps it on the side, picks up the next raw material, keeps it out there. And then you talk to him and he says, I've been doing, may not be exactly like this, but like this for the last 20 years. And my mind says, my God, for 20 years, picking up a metal, keeping it out there, and then the machinery coming down, keeping it on the side, doing that for 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, and for 20 years? Will that not be boredom? And then, my heart really sinks. I feel sad. I really wonder, how they must be going through that life. And then I look at my own life and say, I find it so interesting because there is so much of variation and differences. But then a truth comes up. And the truth is, there is a necessary part of our life which is bound to be the same, almost repetitive, and which has got to be done day after day after day. And this is very true of all our roles in life, personal role as well as professional role. For example, let's take a very simple household example. Let's say if there's a mother who is a mother at home, and let's say she has got 2 children, what would she do every day? Every day meaning morning she gets up, maybe, if there's the husband at home, gets breakfast ready for him, gets breakfast ready for the children, gets them ready for the school, which means uniform, dresses, whatever. Some kind of a running as to whether they have done their kind of homework. And the school bus may be coming in, let's say by about 7:30 to pick them up, which means by 7:15 they got to be kind of ready and then pack them and send them off. And then probably in terms of household, maybe she'll cook some lunch and go through the day with whatever else that she does. And one can say, what a boring life. She has every right of saying that, because she does it for 20 years and then it continues. The children grow up, they go away. What happens to such people? There are people in life who are doing the same thing or similar thing, not just for a few years, not just for a few hours in a day, but for decades, maybe 20, 30 years. And that's where the whole question of mindset comes in. And this mindset is again based on what I call as conscious living. And conscious living is all about discovering that this moment, this point of time is the most important point of time in our life. And we need to bring that focus, that consciousness to whatever that we are doing at a point of time. For example, right now I'm talking. It is also possible for my mind to give me this idea that, you're always talking. You've been a motivational speaker. Now you're recording, let's say, a video. If my mind is giving any of those and then suddenly says that this is something that you've always done, you've done most of the time, this is one more of your talking, then my engagement in this moment will be much below quality. But at this point of time, my mind is very clearly telling me that there is a significant, important question for somebody that has been posed to me. And that person is looking for a genuine, sincere response from me. And therefore, whatever I'm going to do now is going to make a difference to that person, provided it's valuable. It's not about constructing an idea. It's not about creating a solution so that it looks good, but actually, sincerely responding to another human being who is making a human call of saying, what I do. So when I have that genuine, deep consciousness about the value of the person who is asking the question, and the question itself, I'm very, very conscious and being in the now. And in being in the now, I'm recognizing that there is significant value that I create to every little thing that I'm saying. As I'm talking right now, the ideas that I'm presenting, first of all, I consider them to be very important. Second, I 100% respect the source from where this question is coming. Therefore, there is a lot of empathy and a care and a concern to the other person. And the third thing, I'm also hoping and sincerely desiring that some responses from here will help you to find out an answer which makes your life more meaningful, joyful. But towards that, I don't want to do some tricky kind of a responding, but a genuine kind of a responding. So when all these things are there, and I'm absolutely conscious about this moment, believe me, there is no question of boredom at all, because I'm fully involved. Boredom happens when the mind is there, but what is in your hand is not engaging you completely. When you're consciously doing things, there is no gap between the mind and what you're doing. Therefore, there is no space for inner chatter. So the question is it possible for us to live without that inner chatter? Yes, it is possible. When I'm consciously existing all the time or most of the time, there is a much lesser inner chatter. It's only because I'm being very present. I'm keenly, curiously observing every little thing that is in front of me. So can I keenly, curiously, lovingly observe the work that is in hand? It may be a routine kind of a thing I need to do, but can I really become completely involved with that? With love, with curiosity, with attention. Even if it is something that you're going to do 150 times. You know why? Because it's going to be received or going to be part of something that somebody will receive. And that can be very, very important for that person. One of my very favorite spiritual teachers, Paramarthananda, he makes a very beautiful statement. Learn to deal with everyday life as celebration. And then he will very jokingly say, and he talks about the typical Tamilian housewife. She has to cook sambar, she has to cook rasam, she has to cook that same curry and same rice every day. Just like me, the teacher, every Saturday, every Sunday, I got to come to the class and I got to open up the Bhagavad Gita book and I got to do chapter 1 and then chapter 2. All of us, a lot of times in our life, have got to do the same thing. But the only question is, can we do that lovingly? And lovingness, consciously doing something, comes when there is no gap between the mind and what you're doing, what is in hand to be completed. Because if there's a gap, there is a chatter which is saying, this is boring. This is boring. The moment the chatter comes, the voice, the mind, the mouth, all of them work together to say, I am bored. Get engaged with the here and now deeply. And assuming that you are at a point where the chatter you're not able to control, give it a break. Say, hey, you know what? Right now I'm not able to get into that very, very focused, very, very consciously at this point of time. I'll take a small break. Take a small break, nothing wrong. Take those few minutes break, get up, walk around, pep up yourself, look at something else, come back. But come back now with a resolve and a dedication and love and consciousness. Alright? So that's what it is. In the first place, everything that you do that as if that is the most important thing that is to be done. Do that with care, concern, commitment of the highest quality to the customer that you're going to deliver. And that level of dedication is required. You won't feel bored. But assuming that beyond that, you're still at some point of time wanting to take a break, work for a period of time, take a small break, refresh yourself, but always come back with this clarity that consciously doing anything is the best thing to overcome boredom. Life by itself is so beautiful. How can I be bored? Tame your mind to focus and enjoy the here and now. And that's called conscious living. And in conscious living, very little chance for one to be bored. Right? All the best. Take care.